picture that I got, it seems that this sharing, this conference, is aimed at inviting people to, especially the young, to stand again after a long period of suffering and darkness, to stand again and to walk together, to build relationships, to build communion, and in the walking together, to bear Christ to others. It's a walking which is also. It has a purpose to make Jesus known to others, to Jesus. I congratulate the organizers for thinking of this much needed and timely theme. Now, again, going through the materials, I told myself, is there anything else that I could add? The background material is very clear already, but since I had already said yes to the invitation, I might as well contribute something. Again, I do not want to disturb the beautiful document here. If my sharing will be of help, thanks be to God. If not, then go back to your document. The background document, it in itself is already worth reflecting on. I've learned a lot from the document. I just have 3 short points here to share with you. The first, and I went to the Bible to see how this expression was used, and wow, hundreds of times. This occurs in the Bible, but I cannot go through all of them. I chose some. For example, the year of Saint Joseph. And in Matthew 2, chapter 2, verse 13, we hear the angel telling Joseph, who was sleeping, "Get up, arise, take the child and his mother, and flee to Egypt." This was a very difficult moment for the Holy Family. Imagine, a newborn child is already the object of hatred, of threats. And so God, through the angel, tells Joseph, "Arise, flee to Egypt." That's not easy, huh? But you cannot go to Egypt unless you get out. You cannot protect the baby and the mother unless you get out. And Joseph did. Then, in the ministry of Jesus, for example, in Mark 5, verse 41, Jesus uses the same words to a 12-year-old girl who just died. When Jesus entered the house, there was wailing and crying. They were grieving. But Jesus said, "No, stop all of this noise." He entered the room and told the little girl, "Talita kum," little girl, "Get up, get up." And the little girl followed the voice of Jesus. She got up and she was restored to her family. In Luke 7, verse 14, Jesus witnessed a funeral procession. And he learned that the person being buried was the only son of a widow. This was in the town of Nain. So Jesus did something that was taboo at the time. He touched the coffin and he told the dead man, "Young man, I bid you get up." And the miracle happened, and the family was reconstituted. The mother received her son again. And the man started talking, a proof of life. He started speaking, he started communicating. For the Jews, the death is the place of non-communication. But life, a sign of life, is the capacity to speak and to hear. So these are just three examples of the many, of the hundreds in the Bible. You could see that from the three points, the three examples that I have chosen, it is an invitation: arise, get up, to get up from slumber, to get up from death, to get up from isolation, to get up so that you could move and protect someone in danger, so that you could restore a family, so that there will be communication again. This is not a command, this is an invitation. Arise, get up. And it is a getting up for something, for a mission. It is not to get up just for the sake of opening my eyes. It is always getting up, arising for something that the Lord wishes to be done. But one question here is, would we hear the invitation to arise? So the young people here, I was once young too. Especially when it is the first day of class, we want to linger in our sleep, in our bedroom, and no matter how many times our parents knock on the door, "Hey, get up!" We don't hear anything. We just want to stay in slumber. We want to prolong the sleep. So the question here is, will we listen? Will we listen to the invitation? Or will we just immerse ourselves in the so-called silence of sleep? Will we prefer to stay in isolation? Will we prefer to remain dead and deaf? Arise. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. So may I
Yes.
may I start my conference? Okay. The second point that I would like to share is again from the Bible. The expression "arise, get up." The first three examples that I gave, pointed to the angel, or Jesus Christ, as the one telling somebody else to get up. Now, I also found in the Bible people telling God to arise and to get up. For example, Psalm 3, verse 8. The psalmist, as an individual and as a symbol or representative of the people Israel suffering, suffering with so many enemies. The psalmist says, "Rise up, O Lord, save me, my God." And then the psalmist affirms, salvation is the Lord's. At first, it might sound like a complaint. Are you sleeping, O Lord? Rise up. For we know salvation can come only from you. So, there is this expression of faith. In Psalm 9, verse 20, the psalmist says again, "Rise up, Lord. Let no human being prevail. Let the nations be judged in your presence." It is, again, an expression of faith. You are the real Lord. But then, some human beings are pretending to be Lord. So rise up. Show your might. Show that you are the true God. Rise up, O Lord. In Matthew, chapter 8, 23 to 27, now Jesus, with the disciples, they were in a boat. You know this story. They were in a storm that came, and Jesus was soundly asleep in the stern of the boat. And the disciples, who were panicking, said, "Lord, save us. We are lost." The version of Saint Mark, chapter 4, is more dramatic. The disciples said, "Teacher, does it not matter to you that we are going to drown? You're sleeping. Wake up. Rise up. Arise." And Jesus' response was, "Where is your faith? Where is your courage? Where?" Okay, so while we are attuned to the fact that God, Jesus, invites us to rise up, there is also a tradition in the Bible where the people are the ones asking God to rise up, to wake up, to be with His people, to walk with His people. Now, this is a mystery. It may sound like a complaint, and I think God can tolerate our complaints. God knows who we are. God knows our fears. So when we express our fears, our understanding of God's ways, I think God, as a compassionate, merciful God, can handle that. No? But when we look at all of those examples that I have pointed out too, the seeming silence of God, the seeming distance of God, or the slumber of God, is not God's forgetfulness of God's people. It is not that God has abandoned us. No. In fact, it is an invitation for us to abandon ourselves to God. It is a moment also for us to trust that even in those dark moments, God is with us, even if He seems to be sleeping. The truth is, He is with us. And Jesus will sleep in the tomb, that it is a sleep that will bring about new life for all of us. So if you fear God is asleep, okay, wake him up, and you'll be surprised. He is awake. He is awake. And he is in communion with the many, many people who feel helpless. And God knows fully well through Jesus our helplessness. Which brings me to my third point. As you see, I'm just going back to some biblical texts, which are, I think, indicative to us of some of the directions that we need to take up. Now I would like to focus on, say, walking. Arise and walk. Walk with me. Walk with me. Yeah, walking. This is a sign of life, especially if you're walking together. I saw in the preparatory document, a reference to the two disciples on their way to Emmaus. They were walking with their, and as they walked, they were talking about their frustrations and everything, and Jesus walked with them, unnoticed, unknown to them. They thought he was just a stranger, and that's a beautiful assurance to all of us. As I said earlier, we might think that we are in the boat alone, that nobody cares, but Jesus is with us. In the same way that the two disciples on their way to Emmaus, they were joined by Jesus. They did not walk alone. They were not frustrated alone. There was someone who was listening to their frustration. I would like to use another Bible text about walking. And this is in Micah, the prophet Micah, chapter 6, verses 3 to 8. And I think this is a good presentation of human history and even of our personal histories. The people Israel has forgotten how God had walked with them. Part of infidelity, part of sinfulness is forgetfulness. God had walked with Israel. God had liberated Israel. God had taken care of Israel. God has brought up Israel as a child. God had walked with Israel unto maturity. But Israel forgot. And Israel walked its own way and walked with other gods. And so was pain, and this divine justice, divine anger, at first wanted to abandon Israel. Okay, you want to walk alone? You have forgotten my walking with you? Then so be it. I will have nothing to do with you anymore. But then, but God, it's not like that. And so God gave Israel the chance. It was like a dialogue. But look at the response of Israel. Say, okay, you're complaining, God. So what do you need? How do we appease you? Do you want holocaust of calves a year old? Or if you're not content with that, we can give you thousands of rams. Or if you want, we can even give you myriad streams of oil. Or if you're not content, I can give you my firstborn son. Just tell me. Tell us. What do you need? And God said, You have been told what is good and what the Lord requires of you, only to do right, to love goodness, and to walk humbly with your God. I've walked with you. Can you walk humbly with me? Walk humbly with God. That's for me a wonderful expression. You walk with God, but humbly. Why? Well, I have at least two interpretations. The first is this. Uh, if you walk with God and you know you are a mere human being, you are a mere creature and a sinner at that, when you are walking with God, well, you better walk humbly. You cannot be proud. You cannot be proud when you are walking with the mighty God. So when you walk with God, there is no other proper gait or proper manner of walking except with humility. But I prefer another interpretation. We walk humbly with God, meaning when God walks humbly. That is the character of God's walk, humility. And if we walk with God, our walk should be patterned after God's walk. When God walks, it is a humble walk. We see this especially in the compassion of God towards erring sinners. God's patience, God's inexhaustible compassion and mercy. That is God's humility. And most especially in Jesus Christ, we see in Jesus the human walk of God. And it is a humble walk. Walking with fishermen, walking with tax collectors, walking with public sinners, walking with those who are maligned. This is God walking with humanity. And Micah reminds all of us, you want to walk? Walk with God. And learn from God, learn from Jesus how to walk. And it is a humble walk. The world is suffering so much because of people who say they are walking with others, but they walk with so much pride, with so much selfishness. And in the end, people realize they're being left alone. It is only a humble walk with God, with God's walk, that will assure people that they're not alone. So if we walk humbly with God, we will walk also with the people that Jesus loved. Yesterday, I was in a video conference with Latin America, Caritas Latin America, on a very delicate and very sad topic on forced migration, the situation of refugees, especially the victims of human trafficking, those who are already escaping from dreadful situations to save their families and their children. And what do they see? What do they encounter on the way? Who are waiting for them on the road? Human traffickers. And who sell them as prostitutes, who sell them as slaves. Do you know that this human trafficking has become a lucrative business? It is now the second, they say the second most lucrative business next to drugs. Imagine, they walk with human beings to sell human beings. This is not the type of walk that our people who are already experiencing darkness death, isolation deserve. So I'm appealing to all of us here. No, yes, we need to walk with others, but please walk with God, walk with Jesus, and learn from Jesus how to walk. Because apart from Jesus, our walk might be more detrimental to our companions. We might lead them to more darkness, more dangers, rather than to safety and to light. I better stop there. I think I went beyond the time limit. So thank you for your patience. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you, Your Eminence, Cardinal Tagle, with so many wise words and points to reflect on. Your wisdom certainly inspired by the Holy Spirit, and I'm sure, as they say, one gets wiser as they get on in age. I'm not going to mention your age, Cardinal, but I'm going to tell our viewers your birthday is coming up in a couple of days. So on that note, Michelle, we have a surprise for Cardinal Tagle.
Right, Cardinal, we'd like to greet you on behalf of the OPNE and the Alpha. Here is our greeting.
Cardinal Tagle, this is the Alpha Asia Pacific Catholic Context team, and we want to wish you a very happy birthday.
From Malaysia, Selamat Hari Jadi, Cardinal Tagle.
Cardinal Tagle அவர்களுக்கு எங்கள் இனிய பிறந்தநாள் வாழ்த்துக்கள்.
From the Philippines, Malipayong Adlaw Animo, Cardinal Tagle.
Maligayang Karawan, Cardinal Tagle.
From India, ഹൃദയം നിറഞ്ഞ പിറന്നനാൾ ആശംസകൾ കാർഡിനൽ താഗ്ലെ.
From Singapore, 祝你生日快乐，身体健康，Cardinal Tagle. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Cardinal!
Your Eminence, Cardinal Tagle, Archbishop Simon Poe, the Bishop in charge of New Evangelization and Alpha in Malaysia. On behalf of all the Alpha friends, guests who are on this course, I'd like to wish you a very blessed birthday. And in a way, I'd like to personally extend a welcome to you. Come and visit us in Malaysia. May God bless you.
So in this occasion, we will pray for you especially on your birthday and long as that God will bless you, will be near you and have wisdom, prudence and enthusiasm to work for the evangelization, for the people to know and to be near the kingdom of God. May God bless you. Buon compleanno, happy birthday from Bishop Francis Xavier Vira Aponrat from Chiang Mai Diocese, Thailand.
Happy birthday, His Eminence. Greetings from Thailand.
Cardinal Tagle, this is Reverend Miles Coleman from the Alpha Hub in Kuala Lumpur. We want to say happy birthday and thank you for your life and your ministry that's impacting the lives of millions and the ministry of many pastors, including my own. Thank you and have a very happy birthday.
Dearest Cardinal Tagle, just a very short message to wish you a very happy 65th birthday. We're so grateful for your friendship and wish you every blessing for the year ahead. Much love and God bless.
Happy birthday, Your Eminence. We are praying for you. We are keeping you in our heart. All the lessons you have taught us, all the inspiration, we keep them always and remember them. And we hope for your good health, for the strength to carry on your so many responsibilities and ministries. And we are one with you in prayer, and we will always be here to support you. Happy birthday, Your Eminence.
Cardinal Chito, as one song puts it, on the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. Indeed, you're a dream come true for your parents, for your family, and indeed for the church, for all of us. And as another song puts it, we bless the day we found you. A blessed birthday po, Cardinal Chito.
Pinagpalang kaarawan, Cardinal Chito.
Happy birthday, Cardinal. Nagpasalamat tayo sa Panginoon at binigyan tayo ng maraming panahon na binigyan tayo ng mga biyaya na magpatuloy ang mga ating mga sana po ay bigyan tayo ng panahon na tayo magkasama-samang mag-anak. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Kuya Cardinal! Nagpapasalamat kami sa another year of birthday celebration. At dalangin namin sa iyo na good health. Yun ang pinaka-importante. Alagaan ang sarili, ang katawan, pag-iisip, lalo na ang daming trabaho na binibigay sa iyo ni Pope Francis. So dalangin namin sa Panginoon, Holy Spirit, at si Nana Pilar na bigyan ka ng kalusugan. Yan ang importante.
I hope you enjoyed that touching video, Cardinal, Your Eminence. A birthday wish for you in advance.
Thank you very much. What a surprise.
And I'm sure everyone, if you look at the chat box, they're all wishing you a very happy birthday. So on behalf of everyone viewing right now, very happy birthday to you.
But I'm not yet 65, huh?
Still 64.
64.
Right. Well, Your Eminence, we would like you to stay on the screen for our next item. We've titled this segment Coffee with Cardinal because it's morning in Rome and where His Eminence is right now. And also Michelle, our other very special guest who's about to join us, is calling us from London, which should be after his breakfast. You must already know who I'm talking about. He's the pioneer of Alpha and the vicar of HTB in London.